Today marks episode 1 of Katapult Engineering's first video series, 25 Years to Mars. I'm Isaac Tucker, and I'm your host on the 25Y2M blog. And here joining us today is my co-host, Matthew Stilley. Hey, Stilley, how's it going?
It's going quite well. Welcome to 25Y2M. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk to you about Mars. Why Mars?
As you may know, Mars is our brother from another mother planet.
Fourth from the sun, known as the Fire Star, Red Planet, it was named by the Romans after their god of war.
Despite it being called the Fire Star, though, it's actually a very, very cold planet.
Some refer to it as Earth 2.0.
And here at Katapult, we're on a journey to find out if Mars actually could be Earth 2.0. And along the way, we're going to share our story. Recently, our CEO, Jeremiah Stong, pointed us in a new ambitious direction.
That within 25 years, Katapult will land on Mars.
Here to tell us more is our COO and resident mad scientist, Andrew Bryden. Andrew, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
Good. First, let's hear a little bit about yourself. Tell us your story, where you're coming from, and how you ended up at Katapult.
All right. I'm a local Dillsburgian. I studied computer and electrical engineering, and I've been working at Katapult right around 10 years now. I have a wife and 2 young boys, and they keep me quite busy.
Cool.
Andrew, I got to ask you, why Mars? Why now?
Yes. So there is something in the air right now when it comes to Mars. The movie The Martian came out. It's kind of coincidence, but I think a lot of eyes have been on Mars recently. We kind of wanted this long-range vision that we could all kind of like focus on and that would help guide our decisions along the way. Kind of basically every decision you're making on your day-to-day, it just helps you make that decision towards that future goal. So we kind of have this path laid out that utilizes what we do today for the utility industry and helps us evolve through time that gets us on Mars in 25 years.
But so exactly, though, how do you see Katapult fitting into the future on this cold and seemingly very harsh planet?
So the evolution I kind of see is short term, we're going to keep doing what we do, which is a lot of software and rapid survey and deployment of utility infrastructure. So that will help with this focal point, which is actually flexible housing. So flexible housing is this focal point that kind of carries us through all 25 years and puts us on Mars. Again, we start with rapid infrastructure. We move on to disaster response and kind of helping fix that infrastructure in a disaster. That evolves into helping with flexible housing in these disaster scenarios. Then we move on to five years out to 10 years out. We're getting into this modular housing. And then basically we kind of evolve on that modular housing to get to handle harsher and more extreme environments on Earth that eventually lands us on Mars in 25 years. So we're focusing on like being able to use materials that are there and sustainable housing so that like you can bring in the solar energy and you can bring in the basically a house can become self-sufficient and survive.
Now tell me, Andrew, if you had the opportunity to build your own house on Mars, what do you think it would look like?
Ironically, the type of house I think it would most look like is called an Earthship. An Earthship. It's not a ship, and currently they're all built on Earth because that's the only place we build things. But it's basically this dwelling that's mostly buried, but it's got a gorgeous glass facade that lets in a lot of light. Again, it relies a lot on the environment there to maintain its temperatures. So again, you'd have to heat it more and handle your temperatures more when you're on Mars.
Sure. Because it's a lot colder there.
So and atmosphere's bad and lots of things. So
it sounds a lot like the home of Sandy Cheeks in SpongeBob.
Patrick.
The thing that I've heard talked about that I find the most fascinating is sending basically a 3D printing robot to Mars to use the Martian soils and materials there to 3D print housing before humans even land. So basically you send this this robot, this drone that just starts building these structures from Martian soil. And transporting materials to Mars is going to be really prohibitively expensive.
Right.
But if you can basically have a robot that can leverage what is already there to build structures, like, they can get a 5-year head start and build you a city before you get there. That's pretty extreme. But that's the kind of technology I think is fascinating.
That'll be interesting. I struggle just printing on a printer that's 5 feet away from me.
That's my everyday struggle. So within this whole plan, it's going to take about 25 years to get to Mars. At what point do you think you will surpass Elon Musk?
Honestly, probably when he's dead.
Very dark, but true. All right, cool. One last question. What would be your addition to our Mars playlist? We are putting together a playlist of songs, and I know that you love to shake your booty. What is the thing that will really get you going and motivated to get to Mars?
Oh, gosh. Maybe Rocket Man?
Ooh.
Classic.
How's that go?
Yeah. That one. Yeah. I was going to say some really annoying song that I knew Evan would hate, just so that if we end up going to Mars together, he's stuck listening to it for 6 months or something until we get there.
Well, hey, Andrew, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. We hope to be seeing you very soon.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Well, I thought long and hard about it, and if I'm going to take a song with me to Mars, I'm going to take The Way You Do the Things You Do by The Temptations, which is one of my mother's favorite songs.
Yeah, that is a classic.
Indeed it is. Now, I heard that the trip to Mars will be around 9 months. So for inspiration for a song, I thought back to the last 9-month journey I had, which was in my mother's womb. So.
Wow, that is a journey.
Now, speaking of songs for this Mars playlist, were there any of your own that you were thinking of?
Well, yeah, it's funny that you talked about your mother's womb, because when I was first born, the song that my father played was "You Can Call Me Al" by Paul Simon, which I don't know if you know this, but it's got some insane bass tracks. There's some
love
really
the
good
bass.
Yeah. So that's pretty much. I would definitely put that on the playlist. I haven't put it on the playlist yet, but I'm going to.
Okay.
A song that I originally thought of was "Landslide" from Fleetwood Mac.
Ah, wonderful song.
Yeah, generally, when I hear that song, it reminds me of the cinematic, apocalyptic, like disaster of the Earth crumbling inside of itself. As we enter the Martian atmosphere. So that's kind of where I was getting "Landslide" from. But that's definitely a sweet track that we could throw on there.
I think Stevie Nicks was thinking of that when she originally recorded it.
Absolutely. Well, if any of you would like to hear any of those tracks we put together for you on the Spotify playlist, look for our hashtag 25Y2M playlist. So you can just search and find those songs on there. Now, here at Katapult, I think they made an error somewhere down the line and hired 2 non-engineers.
Slip through the cracks.
Don't let them know. So around the office, a lot of times throughout the week, we're just like talking about stuff, and we find ourselves being corrected or downright educated by our peer engineers.
Yeah, you often have to be careful with what you say around here, because I'll correct you.
Yeah. So this next segment we like to call reverse engineering. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a term on the screen, and we'll probably not know what the actual meaning is, but we'll do our best to define it for you, knowing full well one of our engineer peers know this term. So, first term, give it to us. Event horizon.
You want to take this one?
I've heard, yeah.
Go ahead.
Basically, there's an event. I mean, not like a sporting event, but just
no, not like a figure skating event.
No. Like, I think it's where the event and its future meet. I'm right. I think I just heard them say that was right on.
Event Horizon. I believe that's the area outside a black hole from which no light can escape.
Perfect.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. When an event meets its future.
It's not exactly what it sounds.
Yeah, you'll hear it
Well,
later.
I mean, we don't really know what happens inside a black hole, so
Next term. Space weathering.
Space weather.
Not to be confused with space withering. Space weathering. Now look, it's very important when you go out into space. You need to be ready for whatever kind of weather will be out there.
Yeah.
And do you know a place where you can find a great discount on gear for a Mars trip?
Amazon?
No. Marshalls. But back to space weathering. Space weathering refers to the process of being able to endure whatever may come. Asteroids.
Yeah. I'm right there
What's
with
the
you.
other one that sounds like asteroids? What is
meteor?
the- Meteors. Very nice. Very nice. Whatever may come. Space weathering.
Weathering the space storm.
space weathering is the weathering of components that occurs from lots of micrometeorites and cosmic rays that bombard any external surfaces on a spacecraft or a satellite.
Oh, man. Well, that's it for episode 1 of 25Y2M. Tune in 2 weeks for a brand new episode. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Katapult Labs, or find us on Instagram, Vine, all of the social platforms. We're all there. Hashtag 25Y2M. I'm your host, Isaac Tucker.
And I'm Matthew Stilley.
See you next time.